Similarly, a builder will not think twice that okay, if I make a stilt plus four-story house on both sides, what happens to the street? What happens to the people? Where will the children play? Where will women come outside and discuss? Kabuzia comes over here and he realizes that in summers people don't work after 2:30. It's too hot and it's too we have this thing of having a siesta and people would not come back. The building is too hot and we can't work or whatever. He said, okay, this is not how you make a modern nation. You have to work at least till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, maybe beyond. So he realized that office building, like because secretariat at the end of the day is an office building, has to be climatically sound. It has to be comfortable thermally also. So no one is saying you freeze the city. All we are saying is that you take it forward, but on the same lines on which it should build, and there is enough flexibility in the fabric of the city. We have enough spaces, enough ideas on which we can build and make it much better than it is right now without losing the essence. Just a matter of being sensitive to it and not thinking of it as the enemy. So my point is, why can't Chandigarh just be what it is? Why does it have to become Singapore? Why does it have to become Dubai?
Yeah, and they're trying to do that in many cities in India.
Yeah, so why can't Chandigarh be Chandigarh?
In Chandigarh since I was a little girl. I just love the city. In cities across the world, space has to be fought and negotiated for, but Chandigarh is an example of planned generosity. It's an example of civic kindness. It is a city gifted with a design that believed citizens deserved dignity and ease. Deepika Gandhi is a voice that helps Chandigarh tell its story. Through heritage walks, her lectures and writings, she helps people see Chandigarh not just as a home, but as a cultural legacy and what it means to live in a planned city and why certain features need to be protected. Going beyond bricks and mortar as an architect, she engages with civic awareness, promoting the idea that architecture is not only about buildings but also art, history, and urban sensibilities. She seeks to place Chandigarh's architecture in a broader context so that people can appreciate what the city was and what it could be. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, guys, to my podcast, Theatre of Joy. I'm so excited today to present to you Deepika Gandhi. Deepika Gandhi is an architect. And the long and short of it is that she helps tells the story of Chandigarh. And I think she knows Chandigarh better than the Chandigarh city knows itself. Why? Because a city evolves, but Deepika has eyes that have watched it evolve, watched it grow. She has connected with the dream that Chandigarh was built with and seen it play itself out and seen the city being adopted by the people who came to live in it to their needs and to the Punjabiyat, let's say, of the people. And here she is today. And I'm going to pick her brains like nothing. Deepika.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm so honored. I'm so honored.
Same here.
And yeah, like I am so happy to meet you every time I do. And I'm so grateful for the work you're doing for the city that I love.
Thank you so much.
So tell me, when did your love affair with Chandigarh start?
It started just as soon as I think I entered the city. So I came to Chandigarh in 1992, way back when. And I came here for my graduation. I got admitted in the College of Architecture. I had wanted to be an architect since I was 13 or 14.
Really?
Yeah, I was like determined to come here. Now, as fate would have it, I belong to Delhi. But my mother, for some reason, did not want me to study architecture in Delhi because she had heard about the college that there are it's not a good environment and there are drugs and this and that. And at that time, even I was not aware of the Chandigarh College of Architecture, funnily. It was only later, I mean, just when I was going to apply, on the last day, in fact, of the application, I came to know that there's a college like this. And I think God really wanted to direct me to this place, that if you do want to study architecture, then this is the place, not Delhi or Lucknow or some other college. So I think it was a divine intervention of sorts that my
I'm
mother
sure
got
it
stuck.
was.
That no, even if you have to live in the hostel, but not in Delhi college. So that, and because Punjab was going through, I think there were days of terrorism and everything was closed. So she was very happy. Oh, everything shuts down at 7 o'clock. The hostel is almost like a prison. Oh, this is perfect. So for her,
Mothers.
yeah. But I thank her now.
Ah.
Else I would have been somewhere else. So I sort of thank her now. So when I came here, so my love affair, as you're calling it, I mean, of course, you want to study architecture, so you come over here, which means you have an observation, you have a keen eye. And even though I belong to Delhi, in the sense I was living in Delhi, I would not say belong to Delhi, but I never felt one with the city. It never occurred to me that a city could speak to you, that you could actually admire a city. It was just something you endured and you lived in it. But the moment I came to Chandigarh, I remember the first time I went back home, which was around 2 weeks after I came here. I told my parents, I think I've found where I'm going to live for the rest of my life. So it may sound very bad to you right now, but I think Chandigarh is the place. I got so enamored by the orderliness, by the visual order, by the greenery, and just the whole sense of space and aesthetics that I knew that. So that's how my love affair started.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there is a steadfastness about the way the city is built. There are not many surprises. There is no high, tall skyscrapers,
Yeah.
so you can see the horizon everywhere, and that lends to the feeling of quiet and calm
Yeah, it does. It does.
that people who live, and that's the gift of the city.
Exactly. You're right. I think everything. Like for example, like you use the word gift. So when a new city is made, there are many options. There are many ways you can go into, and people assume that it was something which Corbusier did. But my whole attempt is to make people understand that it is a very much Indian city. Like Corbusier just implemented
Yeah.
the brief he was given, and the brief was given by us Indians only, by our Indian officers, by our ICS officers like Fletcher, who said it should be a garden city.
Yeah.
Had they said to Corbusier, okay, we want vertical towers, we want an industrial town, we want this, he would have made that also, because in fact that is what he had been advocating all over the world.
Yeah.
Ironically,
Kind of
ironically, Corbusier's plan for Paris was just these huge vertical towers at a distance of some miles, to free up the ground space. And he was not very much in favor of this low-rise caravan thing. So there were many things that went into it: the lack of technology, lack of money, or that gave it the character. But as you're saying, like even the Sukna Lake, for example, on the cube you have a quote by Corbusier that the lake is a gift from the creators of Chandigarh, because actually it is a gift.
It is, yeah. It's beautiful, and it's a wetland.
Yeah.
They somebody must have put their
P.L.
mind to
Verma,
that.
P.L. Verma, who was the chief engineer. In fact, one person. See, I'm an architect. Of course, I'm very in awe of Corbusier, and what he did was phenomenal over here and elsewhere. But there are people like the first chief engineer of the Chandigarh project, which was P.L. Verma. He actually, Corbusier himself called him the father of Chandigarh.
Really?
And people don't even know about him. And it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
That how can you not know about him? He should be celebrated, his birth anniversary, death anniversary. We should be making a memorial to him or something like that, because he was the one who literally was the client for Corbusier, like in direct communication with him. He was the one who fought for the city being made. At one point, the city came very close to not being made because we didn't have the funds.
Oh, really?
The central government gave up.
Uh-huh.
That we don't have the funds. You see how you will fend for it, okay? And he was the one, along with some other bureaucrats. He was the one who selected the site. They went on a air recce kind of a thing, and they chose the site. He was the one who fought for it, that okay, we will not expand any other old town like Ambala or Ludhiana or Amritsar, but we'll make a new capital city. And he had to convince people a lot, and he did that. And then we don't even realize how the city was, how it came up within 5-6 years. So as a chief engineer, he was managing it all. So whatever we have over here, the execution of it, the thought behind it, and many of the critical things, like even Sukna Lake, for example, was not Corbusier's thought, it was P.L. Verma's thought. So even the wetland that you're talking about, he realized, and we're talking about 1950s. And they were so ahead of their times. So see that, okay, no, we need something to stop the silting, we need to do something to convert, like sort of conserve the water over here. So we need a green belt over here. So he got geological studies done. So, I mean, these are such technical things which we don't even think of now, and we just rush into projects.
Yeah.
So Chandigarh also was made at breakneck speed, but with so much of thought, as if they had entire years to plan or mull it over, but they just had days sometimes. And so people like P.L. Verma, for example, are the ones who actually made Chandigarh what it is.
And in those times, I remember people had come from, a lot of people had come from Pakistan, right? And there weren't many things distracting people from their curiosity, their joy, you know. There wasn't this neck-breaking power struggles and the hoard to make money, and I mean, there's so many things that were not there. And so people like Pierre Verma had had the time and the energy to follow up on their curiosities and on their intellectual.
But I still think, where does my knowledge come from? Because I have been through the old files and the old documents and the museum, what you have in the old like letters and meetings, minutes of the meetings or whatever. They did not have as much time as we think they do. They were just very clear about what they wanted. There was no vested interest. How will it benefit me?
That's what I meant.
Okay.
No vested
So
interest.
there was a lot of clarity of thought. So that's what you call visionary. Like, what is a visionary who can see 2, 3, 4 decades ahead and then get it implemented right now? So, for example, even for the lake, the story goes that P.L. Verma was very keen for the lake to be made. He was just waiting for the orders. Jahan orders आएंगे, there was a low-lying area कि यहाँ पे और dig करना whatever. The diggers were ready on site. Because he knew that, okay, once it gets approved, it is very much possible someone may object and it may get like relegated again. So can you believe it that he was just waiting? He had given orders that as soon as you get the message, start digging. Okay. So the moment the file was cleared, he runs to the, or he gets an order like to the lake that start the digging right now. So that is how. So they did not have the luxury of time, unlike what we think, to plan over things. In fact, sometimes when I see these documents like M.S. Randhawa, who was the commissioner, chief commissioner, and if you look at his, did they even sleep during those times? Were they just dictating? Did not have computers, okay? And there's so many letters and notes, like 20-page notes, 30-page notes, and it's all typewritten and everything. So, on the contrary, I think that their major distraction was in fact Chandigarh, and they put all their energies into it.
Yeah, I mean, we could learn a lot from their processes, right?
Yeah.
And of course from yours, because, you know, it's nice to have someone watching over, right? I don't think there are many people who have gone so deeply into the dream that Chandigarh was and how it was executed and what's happening now and where all are now. The dream is in danger.
Yeah, it is.
Because people who have not gone so deeply into this, the dream of the city and the space and all the joy that we experience here, they would not know,
they would not be sensitive,
and
they
won't be sensitive enough. So, यहाँ पे इसके अच्छा पैसा मिल रहा है, थोड़ा let's do it.
See, we are of a generation where we know the cost of everything, but the value of nothing. So,
very well put.
Similarly, a builder will not think twice that, okay, if I make a stilt plus 4-story house on both sides, what happens to the street? What happens to the people? Where will the children play? Where will women come outside and discuss things?
What happens to the horizon?
What happens to the horizon?
The view of the hills that we all enjoy now.
These are very romantic notions, okay, the view of the hills or whatever, but fundamental things like there is no sunlight coming into the ground floor or whatever we call the ground floor above the stairs. Or like that people, like old people for example, my mother uses the word Trishanku. Trishanku, in a bid to becomes immortal, he was neither here nor there. So my mother, where they live in Delhi, we had stilts and 4. And my mother and father were like very resistant. We don't want to do that because my mother was कि मेरे को त्रिशंकु बन के ना ऊपर नहीं लटके रहना. And then I understood, because a elderly person or even a child who's hung in a balcony, and there's no interface at the street level. So you're not just killing the aesthetics, you're killing something more fundamental. You're like just destroying the social fabric. The sabzi wala comes and you just आप टोकरी नीचे कर देते हो, फिर टोकरी को ऊपर करते हो. Like there's no interaction among people. The elderly are like, so it's there are many things. So that is the value. What is a mohalla meant to be like? So the value, I mean, the cost of course goes up. But the value, I mean, and then the inherent richness of our culture, you're destroying everything just for money. So
and that's the gift that the master plan gave us, actually.
Yeah.
And the people who are instrumental in helping administration stick to the master plan. I hope that continues.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because it does make so much sense. I mean, the gift, the view of the hills is also a gift.
It is.
I've been in cities where you can't see the sky even on a hill or a tree or, and we don't realize it, people don't realize it, but that is so constricting. It constricts your life, I mean, so many things you just don't have access to. That we in Chandigarh know what it means to have access to, things like that.
The ironic and unfortunate part is that whatever is available freely, you start taking it for granted. Whether it's your best friend or your mother or your city or the greenery.
Or your
wife, whatever is there all the time, you start taking it for granted. So then you see these ridiculous, look at the typical screensavers on the laptop or on the computer. What are they? Scenes of nature. Okay, so there are places in some cities where you will not see a single tree on the entire avenue, because there's just buildings and roads and walkways and everything. So people will be putting a little plant on their table and thinking, oh, I brought nature in. And we don't have to, and of course we all are fond of greenery in our houses and all around us, but so sometimes this is a very problem, that because it's there, because it's always there around you, you stop valuing it. And then you start taking decisions which totally disregard what is right in front of your eyes. And that is the problem Chandigarh is facing, I think.
And I'm so grateful to you that you have, actually educated generations of people in the architecture college, in the Le Corbusier Center, and in Chandigarh, with whatever you've written and the talks that you gave, reminding people of, and actually telling that people need to be told, to look around and see the gift that they have received. And I was, talking to people and looking at what people outside who don't live in Chandigarh feel about Chandigarh. And there are many energies. Like it's a modern town with a mall, but those are not the gifts. These are the gifts, and people have to be nudged and poked into remembering what it is to demand for themselves in the rest of the country. Many places who have been built or being built now with some smart people have actually taken the Chandigarh model and tried to use it to build model towns and cities have done that. But still, I think we need to be reminded ad nauseum of what the gift of dignity is that the city gives to its people. Because it says, okay, you're worth it. The plan is generous to you. You have been gifted space and dignity. Really actually living,
Yes, actually,
the way a human being should live.
You've raised a very important point, because Corbusier wrote, and he had an edict of Chandigarh kind of thing, and he said that Chandigarh is a city offering the amenities of modern life to the poorest of the poor. Now, many people, will message me, where's the housing for the poor? Where's this? Where's that? Okay, you can't blame someone who came here 70 years back, and of course, if you see, the housing was still a PN's house also was designed properly. What he meant was that normally in cities, green areas, parks, and like wide roads are reserved for the rich, while the poor are living in very bad conditions. They don't have access to big green areas, and around the green areas will have only very rich people living, and then as they go out, then the pockets become smaller and smaller. Who's stopping anyone? Like I have seen in Chandigarh that even a rickshawala can rest under a tree, rest in the leisure valley, rose garden, or the lake. Anyone can take their children over there. So all these, what is the biggest gift? As you said, the gift of space. So I was reading somewhere, why did malls come up? Like in Mumbai, for example, if you ask anyone, where are you going? I'm going to a mall. I'm going to a mall. Why? Because they live in these really tiny houses. So they want an experience of space. And a mall gives them that expansiveness which they don't find in their houses or in their communities or in their clusters where they're living. In Chandigarh, we already have that feeling of space. And also, what people don't realize, the gift of time, because it is so well planned. So why did I leave? Okay, I came to Delhi for my graduation, but eventually after graduation, went back, got married, started doing that whole thing, you're taking care of the house and you're going to office and coming back or whatever. So I would leave at 7:30 because the commute was long, come back by 7:30 and then do the whole household thing or whatever. And I was, this can't go on because travel in Delhi means like 1 hour.
Yeah.
And especially if you don't have a car or whatever, you're traveling by public transport. So I realized this is not working out. I mean, I don't want a life like this. And again, I thank my old self that I had the intelligence to realize, okay, this is not working and this will not work for me. I don't want this kind of life. So we shifted back to Chandigarh after marriage also. And here I was able to reach anywhere in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Come back from office in 15
that's
minutes.
a gift of the city.
And also,
yeah.
as you said, the people have a different way of living over here. The lifestyle is like better. So I would reach home by 6 o'clock back in the evening. And I would say, oh my God, I have so much of time now. And also because I have come back through these green areas and like nice roads, I'm not like
Stressed
mentally
out.
saturated. Yeah, I'm not stressed out. I'm in a good mood. So I can do this, I can do that, and I can take care of my house, and I can, oh, what should I cook today? I have the energy to live a good life, and that is what we take for granted. The quality of life that we get over here, because everything is accessible, the markets are so neatly laid out. You can shop in Sector 17 without having to catch hold of your child or yourself also. So I mean, raising children was such a pleasure over here.
The cycling
Like,
in the
in my 1 hour break, I was teaching in the college at that time. I could actually go pick my daughter from college, bring her home, have lunch, and come back to college in an hour. You cannot do that in Delhi. Or in the evening, I could take her to a hobby class, then take her somewhere else, and take my son somewhere else, and we would be sorted in 2.5 hours. In Delhi, not possible, just not possible.
It's cruel.
Yeah.
Big cities are cruel. And this is where the dream goes on. It transfers from person to person.
Yeah.
So the other people also get at least the gift of the dream. The people who come here, to Chandigarh, they want, there are Punjabi song, Chandigarh Kothi Bana Rahe Kothi, that kind of a thing.
All over Punjabi
The
music,
dream is there.
Aspiration.
And this is the way a human being should live.
Yeah. Actually.
And what will it take for more cities like this to come up? I mean, it's not impossible.
See, Chandigarh, in fact, many people have asked me this, that okay, if Chandigarh was such a good city and such a good example, why don't we have more Chandigarhs? Why did no one think of making a city like this again? So my reply, pehle to I used to be thinking, why not? Then I said, okay, if I give you some canvas and some paints and some brushes, will you be able to make what Van Gogh made? Or some other painter made? Because it actually, as I said, was, and of course here there was not one Van Gogh, there were many of them. It was actually a culmination or an amalgamation of the right people at the right time. I mean, if you study Corbusier in isolation, if you study P.L. Verma in isolation, or M.S. Randhawa for that matter, all of them headstrong, as they were called, and egoistic and this and that. But look how beautifully they worked together, because they were all working for a dream, and they all were intelligent enough to realize that the dream was bigger than the man. Okay, or even Jane, the woman. Okay, so she herself says, no, I will not be able to design a city for you. Why don't you get Corbusier? So it was such an amazing thing that everyone rose to the occasion. From, of course, some ministers also, and the bureaucrats also, and the architects, and the Indian team of architects were not given enough credit, because we only see Corbusier and all of that.
But Aditya Prakash ji?
Like Aditya Prakash, like Jeet Malhotra, and Mr. S.D. Sharma was honored recently, and okay, he was very junior at that time, but still, the people how they contributed. Yui Chaudhary, like that one female architect who stood up for, I think, all of us over there. They also pitched in, and everyone rose to the challenge. which happens very rarely. Which is why Chandigarh could not be replicated. You have land, you have money, you have a plan, you have everything, but the vision is missing.
The vision, the intention.
जज्बा, that जज्बा ना कि ये करना है, किसी भी तरह करना है. अगर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट पैसे नहीं दे रही, हम लोग लेके आएंगे, हम लोग लैंड बेचेंगे.
The process of making Chandigarh and the city itself and everything should be studied very finely.
It should be studied
and used.
Yeah.
It can be used in any kind of projects.
Yeah.
Not only in city projects.
Yeah.
But what made that team work?
Yeah.
Would be very interesting piece of study. Yeah.
In fact, okay, that could be a generic thing, but even see, sometimes when you, like, I give people an example that there's always this person in your class. You go to the class and there's a very weird person. You don't understand them, and like you don't talk. No one talks to them, and no one appreciates them, or whatever. It's only when you start talking to them, when you know about them, or for example, they had something in the background that they overcame these many hardships, and then they became this, and so which is why they're little like that. So appreciation only can come from understanding. The problem is that most people have no idea about how Chandigarh evolved, what were the circumstances, what were the challenges. It's very easy to say, अरे यहाँ तो सारा ईंट use किया हुआ है, सब कुछ किया हुआ है. Now, if I show you a calculation of how much cost each house had at that time and translate it into these times, you'll be astounded that how did they make it so cheap? There was no money. I mean, we were just after a partition. The very fact that, you've just been through a partition and the Britishers have drained out your country, you have no money, no technology, and then you say कि चलो एक नया शहर बनाते हैं. और वो शहर भी ना छोटा मोटा refugee colony नहीं होगा. As you said, it was immigrants. It will be a modern town. It will be symbolic of our freedom. It will be symbolic of what we want to make.
The future that we are asking for.
Exactly. So, as I tell people, please understand that, this Punjabi thing of the Chardi Kala, this concept of Chardi Kala, that even in the face of adversity, you bring out your best and you give your best and you are confident and you are hopeful. Chandigarh actually encompasses all of that. It actually encompasses the Punjabi spirit, however you want to define it. That spirit that doesn't matter. We don't have the money. We don't have all the answers right now. पर हम बनाएंगे. और हम जैसे तैसे मेहनत करके बनाएंगे और उन्होंने बनाया. The moment people go into that thing, like we all know about the freedom struggle of India, how much sacrifice it took, and who laid their lives and who fought with the British or whatever. Most of the Chandigarh people who just offhandedly dismiss that, oh, it's just a very simple kind of a thing. The buildings are so boring because they had no money, they had no resources. If you compare the poorest house, the smallest house of Chandigarh with what is being done by PWDs all over India, you will be amazed at the aesthetics that we have been able to achieve. The sensitivity to sunlight and ventilation and how people will live, courtyards and greenery. So people, till you don't understand the background of why things are the way they are, you will not appreciate the thought that went behind it, and also how vital it is to preserve them or at least work on the same lines.
So as a person who's been living in Chandigarh, I've noticed off and on, spaces that seem so interesting, like the Tego Theatre, and the audio quality that used to be earlier, because there were earthen kind of ghadas built into the walls, which gave it a very good audio zoning. And the secretariat, I remember going once, and the hall, each floor when you walked through the hallways, it was so breezy. We we weren't perspiring and hot. It seemed like just a concrete block, and it seems that but
so
that was beautiful.
So I'm glad you brought up the Secretariat building because it's a very interesting building. Okay, it's almost 800 meters long and almost like a train. It's a very linear kind of building. So just a single corridor and 2 rooms on the side. And that was made deliberately to get in as much of natural light and ventilation into the building. Reason, Kabuse comes over here and he realizes that in summers, people don't work after 2:30. It's too hot and it's too, we have this thing of having a siesta and people would not come back. The building is too hot and we can't work or whatever. He said, okay, this is not how you make a modern nation. You have to work at least till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, maybe beyond. So he realized that office building, like because secretariat at the end of the day is an office building, has to be climatically sound. It has to be comfortable thermally also, which is why. So I used to joke about it before that if it was a student of mine who designed a building like that, I would say, ki, why did you design a building like that, and how could Corbusier do that? So then this architect B.V. Doshi came. He had worked with Corbusier and well known or whatever. He says, actually, Deepika, only Corbusier could have designed a building like that, which was so true to what he wanted that he did not bother about what people will say. That, oh, let's make it more clever, let's make it more interesting, let me add a little twist to it. He just stuck to the section he had in mind that, okay, natural ventilation, natural light, thin linear building. I don't care how long it gets. I'll give 2 ramps, give 6 service cores or whatever. But I will stick to the brief which I have for myself. So it takes guts to make a building like that. And that is why it looks so blank and sad. But even in that, the kind of aesthetics he was able to evolve, it's actually the tallest building of the city. Because at that time he had to house almost 4,000 people. Now it's close to 6,000 people. So it's almost like a mini city. So to make a building like that, this is exactly what I'm saying. When you know the story behind it, then you start, oh, achha, so that's why it is like this.
Yeah.
And then you start appreciating rather than making fun of it or like me not understanding how could he do that.
Yeah, it makes sense that in every school classroom or something, children should be taught
Yeah.
or should be given the space of knowing their immediate environment.
Yeah.
It really makes sense because even if they're living in a village or a small city or a small town, and if Chandigarh, if all the students studying in Chandigarh,
They especially should know.
they would appreciate their lives and also visions and the future plans.
Yeah.
Also another thing, I know that you help people understand about where Chandigarh came from, how is it going now, and what can be in the future. So can you talk about that, the future?
Yeah. See, the most common thing people will come, oh, see, Chandigarh does not look like Singapore, it does not look like Dubai, it does not look like a modern city. Now, what is the definition of modern? And then I ask them a simple thing that, are you proud of how you look? Are you proud of how you are? Now, for example, if I tell you, oh no, you should change your hair color, you should stop dressing like this.
Yeah.
You don't look like that lady, or you don't look like that lady. You would say, why? Because I'm me. So my point is, why can't Chandigarh just be what it is? Why does it have to become Singapore? Why does it have to become Dubai?
Yeah, and they're trying to do that
Yeah.
in many cities in India.
Yeah, so why can't Chandigarh be Chandigarh? And why can't it retain its values? And it's like eating your cake and having it too. And in our case, for example, what we're doing is we're actually killing the goose that lays the golden egg.
Yeah.
We are getting all the benefits, but we are leeching it off. And we
Because we
want
don't-
all the benefits, but we want it to change so much that it will not remain the same. So if you keep changing everything bit by bit, it will lose its very essence. And then what do you have? It will become just like any other overcrowded, sterile, hyper lighted up kind of a city, but then it will not be Chandigarh. So please, if you want a very modern, multi-story building or whatever, make another city. We have enough land.
Yeah.
Propose another township. Make something which is totally that then. Why do you want to break the fabric of this city and try to make something out of that? Like हमारा एक contractor था used to say कि मैडम जी कभी भी ना पजामे में से पतलून नहीं निकल सकती. So
Pajama में, that's a good
मतलब कि फिर ना वो पजामा रहेगा ना पतलून रहेगी.
Pajama रहेगा,
So I think this is what we're trying to do. Let Chandigarh be what it is. In fact, reinforce the good points. Of course, there will be some things which can be improved. It's been 70 years. Corbusier himself would never have wanted that we just stick to what he did. He was a revolutionary, he was a modernist, and modernist means you change with time, you change with society. So no one is saying you freeze the city. All we are saying is that you take it forward, but on the same lines on which it should build, and there is enough flexibility in the fabric of the city. We have enough spaces, enough ideas on which we can build and make it much better than it is right now without losing the essence. Just a matter of being sensitive to it and not thinking of it as the enemy.
And also about actually knowing the gift that they've been given.
Yeah.
And which is what we've been
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you need to do more and more and
Yes,
more.
I need to,
More
yeah.
than what you are doing.
No, because there's a lot to be done. We
Yes.
haven't even, I think, scratched the surface right now.
Yes, and I so appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I know that you will do, and any help that any Chandigarh person can give you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like if you really love Chandigarh, then try to educate everyone.
Yeah.
Try to just make them see the magic that is there in this. And I think as you know what, हम लोग बदनाम हो गए. We are called the heritage wallahs. I was told recently that I've been branded an activist, and I'm not very welcome in certain circles now, or like in some panels or whatever. कि अरे नहीं वो तो activist बन गई है, but I'm not an activist. I just happen to love the city a lot, and I'm a very expressive person, so I show it.
You've done your homework.
Yeah.
Which
And this is not some inane kind of a oh my god I love Chandigarh kind of a thing. No, it's based on a real appreciation of how it was made, the struggle behind it, the thought behind it, the beauty behind it, and
curiosity, which led
curiosity,
you to
yeah.
unearth all these things.
So once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
So then the flaws also become a part of it. Okay, the concrete is chipping off doesn't matter. The brick is breaking doesn't matter. You know the story behind it. It's just like a person that the chinks in the armor and
Becomes
everything.
like your grandmother.
Yeah, and you accept them and you appreciate them.
Yeah.
So I think if people understand that will be a good starting point.
Yeah. And odes to you. That
Thank
is
you.
you helping
Thank
people
you.
understand.
No.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless the city.